My name is Michael Miller. This is a Michael Miller Pilates YouTube live video broadcast out to you because you're watching. Thank you, and I don't plan on being long. It's mainly this broadcast is for Michael Miller Pilates licensed affiliates, core new core students, in the interest of surviving as Pilates instructors. I just got off of YouTube, I just got off of Facebook, and I just had three things I talked about. One was Pilates isn't something in general, Pilates is something specific. And the second one was, does that make sense? And the third one was finding ease. I tried to make the point that Pilates has an essence of its own, and that the book by Freeman and Eisen, The Pilates Method of Physical and Mental Conditioning, became the presentation of Pilates as principles that came out of that book, and it was written like years after Joe died. But principles is handy to deliver something that allows you to then subjectively interpret it as you wish. And to that end has become the 10,000 things, or all the different expressions of Pilates that we see in the modern world. And I consider that a lot like a flood, and that there are so many and so much and coming so fast that I think you have to go to high ground, at least higher ground. And to the extent that you get higher ground, you get a perspective. And I think with perspective comes empowerment for what exercise you choose to do next with the student that you have. I talked about working with an 11-year-old recently, helping them with their multiplication tables, and how, to me, what mattered more than just them getting the right answer was to ask them, does your answer make sense? Injecting the question, well, does this make sense? And in all your calculations, part of survival is, I think, the practical step. It's very practical, and it's very important, I think, to question yourself about, well, does that make sense? And whatever the assumption is or the answer is, asking yourself, does that make sense? And in some small way allows yourself to stand outside of yourself or create a second perspective from which to examine what your assumptions are, you know. And then the third thing was finding ease, and it seemed like I just ended up blabbing forever on finding ease. And the key parts there, whenever ease comes to mind, this is the sentence I want you to know. To be eccentric, in other words, to come out from center, to be eccentric, to come out from center, you have to start at ease. So ease is important. We talked about somebody so tight they can't lay on their back and have their head touch or their fingers touch because they're so tight in their shoulders and their chest. And so the objective for a beginner is to help them be at ease so that they can gain control at the hips to establish the condition of core, right? And then expand from there to be able to create endpoints of tension where shown on the body in order to make more uniform engagement of musculature, which ends up yielding a uniformly developed body. And then in Pilates you go from at ease, laying flat on your back, to standing, ready to walk away, or run, or jump, or fly, right? Movement, I guess the way you move is a demonstration of your degree of control. You're okay with that, aren't you? The way you move is a demonstration of a degree of control. And so standing up straight is a demonstration of a degree of control in that you know what straight is, and ideally you can feel it based on the feedback you get from the weight of your body in space. Right? At the other end of the spectrum, from someone who has very little control and they're very tight, to someone who has amazing capacity in themselves, as a Pilates instructor, I have taken a person directly to the Cadillac, demonstrated inversion, because I'm able to, doesn't hurt, no danger, and then come out of that and said, okay, you do that. Right, I'm really big. Because there's so many baby steps before you get to the end of the line, in a way, right? And the student got up and did an inversion and was pretty calm in it, but they were totally rolled forward in their shoulders holding the position. And that became the beginning of the string. And I guess the beginning of the string just means where to go next, right? Because now he was certainly in shape. But within the context of Joe's choreography, I knew I wanted to emphasize, or explore at least, was he tight, or was he flexible and just didn't know where to hold his shoulders? Right? But you had somewhere to go. Movement reveals itself. And then I talked about to put someone at ease, especially someone carrying a large load, meaning they have, if you step on a scale, it goes up. They're not light, they have a large load. No matter how that load is distributed or what it's made of, for a heavy person, if you lay them on their back, on the caddy, and give them enough spring underneath the roll-down bar with their knees draped over to support their hips in space. So their legs drape over the roll-down bar. There's enough spring from wherever it's needed, meaning leg springs or more leg springs or leg springs and arm springs. But there's enough spring to support the hips in a cradle at the knees at one end and the arms pushing out. Well, the arms don't even have to be pushing out, but it's better, I think, if they do. But to put a person at ease at their hips and to allow themselves to release what often can be like a jammed up grip in the lower back, to where it has a chance of just in gravity letting go and going to at ease. You know. And this is important to me because I, a long time ago, believed that you made effort in order to get control and develop your body, right? And especially getting out of pain. And to me, more you have to let go of the pain, and that's release. That's a let go, and that's at ease, right? So only in rare situations have I ever explored or been taken into having to make effort to get better or recover or regain strength in spite of a pain that you couldn't find ease in. I think the more experience you have as a Pilates instructor, I think the more that statement will make sense. The test of going inverted is one of finding ease within the tension, right? And not clenching and not over tensing. See, the biology of the body strives to achieve the physics that continues its existence. And core tension gets you up off the floor and standing. So see, core tension is biomechanics. It's biology and the physics of that the biology exists within, and what the biology seeks to accomplish within the physics that it exists within. So for your sake, separate in your mind the fact that Michael Miller and core tension applies to everybody because it's about bodies and the physics in which they live. Okay. And his contribution to Joe's work is merely a contribution to what is an epic gift to humanity. To me, his gift is a means to survival, a conditioning means to survival. And within that conditioning means to survival, I think an awareness of core tension and a means to engage your musculature in the pursuit of Pilates is an invaluable tool. And actually, as Michelle Berger at Pure Pilates in Billings, Montana says, I don't even try to separate the two of them. And because she's teaching Pilates and her name of her studio is Pure Pilates, there's no real reason to try to. But core tension exists within any human body, and the capability to more deeply engage it allows you the benefits that come from that. Okay. So, this is live on YouTube. Another entry into my open safe and unviewed recordings. Even I get the practice. I get the practice at delivery. And the comfort and the assurance that When you observe me talking to you, you'll know that this is who I intended it to be to. Life can't live forever. Read between the lines. See behind the curtain. Add two and two. Direct your thinking. Geist.